Hey there, lady. My name is Molly Conley, and I'm devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives, whether that's after divorce, dating on and off the apps, or in their committed relationship. Why? Because I've been there. I'm a former college athlete who filed for divorce 3 years into marriage, swam in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and now I am married to the man of my spreadsheet dreams who I met 4 months before the world shut down. As a dating and relationship coach, I help my clients shift the focus from being obsessed with finding Mr. Right to shifting to herself as Miss Right Now. We build a foundation filled with clarity, connection, and confidence, knowing she is worth waiting for. Each week on the podcast, I'll bring you love life insights and savvy guests, where you will receive the courage to release programmed limiting beliefs. Discover patterns and behaviors restricting you from finding and attracting quality men, and ways to choose yourself first so you can build a foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and a partner. Hey there, lady. I am so happy to be back with you here today. Taking a few weeks off for medical leave was definitely needed. But with that said, I wasn't able to finish all of the podcast episodes that I wanted to record beforehand. So this episode was inspired by a personal experience that I shared in episode 40, which was titled, "What Happens When You Have Low Standards?" And it's about dating a man-child. By the way, I know that I have some men who listen to the podcast, so please bear with me. I have something for you further into the episode. But before we get started, I wanted to ask you, has this show helped you in some way, big or small? If so, would you please let me know by leaving a rating or review wherever you listen to the podcast right now? It really helps me grow the show, and I greatly appreciate it. But if you have an additional 30 to 45 seconds to leave a heartfelt review, that would mean so much to me. It's definitely going to help other listeners like you find the show. Okay, so we've all been there. And honestly, I actually hope you never have to go through this, but if you have, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So, one sign that you might be a fixer or a savior and you're dating a man-child is that you're trying to have them see their potential in themselves and a future with you. And if you've been around here long enough, you can see how your own sabotaging behaviors play into your relationship. But even with all that awareness, maybe you're still not making progress to either leave the relationship or you haven't seen this from a bigger perspective, that he's a man-child. But what makes the man you're interested in a man-child? Well, honestly, there seems to be a lot of information out there, and I'm going to share some of the biggest warning signs and some of those sneaky ones with you. But guess what? I had no idea that man-child has been used as an actual term in psychology. So I'm going to give you guys some a little bit of psychology and research right here. In 1959, a handful of psychologists found that most men that were, in their 20s or 30s seemed to be acting like children or toddlers. And Carl Jung even coined this as Peter Pan syndrome in the early research stages. So there was even a book that went out with it. I can't even remember what the book was called, but I don't know if he was the one that wrote it. Anyways, he later discovered that becoming a man-child comes from the parents. So let's say the man you're dating has a father who was emotionally and physically absent towards the guy you're dating, mom. So the mom then can become more engulfed in the relationship with her children, which has then been called the mother complex. So when this happens, she's typically looking for love and finds it with her children who constantly need her attention. This becomes a situation where she's overly protective, hovering over everything in his life. And as he grows older, she continues to seek attention to him by showing him that he still needs her. So she basically becomes a fixer or savior in every single part of his life. And Carl Jung calls this stage of when a man is living regressively. And sometimes the mother has no idea that she's doing this or hindering her son's growth and his chances to marry and find love of his own. So more and more men are showing up as a man child, and it's concerning. I could I could literally go off on a tangent about the generational impact as well as the mother's conditioning in a marriage and family from the example I shared, but we're just going to save that for another episode. So, anyways, ladies, what does this mean to you? It means that you will have to be diligent with your dating and relationships. So now that you know more information from the psychological research about how a man child came to be, let's get into 7 warning signs that you are dating a man child. And I'm going to start off with my biggest issue. And it's one that I've encountered, it's one I've seen with my clients. And this is men who are still, no matter the age, have mommy and daddy taking care of him. I grasp that housing is expensive, and some people are okay with their kids moving back home after college. But in reality, it's not acceptable. Even if he's paying rent, a portion of his bills, his own groceries, and whatnot, he's still not having to do every single thing on his own. And, his mom might be doing one thing or his dad might be helping him with another. But think about it this way. A step up from here would be living with roommates, because then they're all having to contribute into where they're living together. And then once he's done living with roommates, that means he can afford a place of his own. And I will tell you that I lived through a small portion of this issue with my ex-husband. I remember telling him he needed to get off of his parents' cell phone family plan so we could start ours. And that was the 2nd year into our marriage. An additional layer to this is when he just asks you to do it for him. Don't do it. Number 6, he can't handle conversations about the future. So whether that's you two planning like a 2-week trip in 6 months or asking him about marriage and starting a family, he can't handle it. He either shuts down with silence and fear, or he brushes you off in too, with a casual response of oh yeah, sure, that sounds great. No, he's not digging in to planning or thinking about having a future, especially around marriage and kids. Number 7, you constantly nag him to do whatever a typical man his age should be doing with his life. He should not be doing keg stands and throwing food across the bar at his buddies. He should not be late when picking you up or meeting you. You should not be cleaning up after him at his own place or helping him with his finances. Okay, so if anyone you're interested in hits any of these, please be preparing yourself to move on from him. Stop dating, break up, or move out when you can. Or he says, a goal like, someday I'll own my own home, before spending money on something that's just really frivolous. Number 4, he's emotionally unavailable and lacks the emotional intelligence to be supportive when you need him. So he will do this by not comforting you or empathizing with you because he cares more about himself and his life than your hypothetical, quote unquote, problems. He might even make fun of you and, of your current situation, and tells you that this is why he's a better person, because he handles these situations with ease. Okay, last but not least, number 5. He always plays the victim, which means there's always an excuse why he got fired from his job, an excuse why he was late to meet you for a date, an excuse why he's too tired to hang out with you, an excuse of why he can't pay his bills or pay you back. So, lady, if you have issues with being a fixer or a savior, you're going to have issues with a man child, because you're going to attract men like this into your life. And you'll have to learn how to choose yourself over all of this and let him go. Listen, I don't care how hot he is. I don't care how mind-blowing the sex is. He's not worth it. Especially because there's this amazing study that I need to share with you. And if you enjoy having sex, well, here's some bad news for you if you're dating a man-child. So I found this article which linked to a 2022 study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavioral Journal. And they found that having a relationship with a man-child kills a woman's sex drive. So I'm going to read this passage to you, ladies. They found when women perform more household labor than their partner, they, the women, tend to see them, the men, like a dependent child. This, unsurprisingly, reduces their sexual desire for that person. Ongoing inequalities in domestic labor have even been cited as why more women file for divorce than men. So, ladies, if you think that getting married to a man-child is going to help him grow up, once again, watch out. You might not even realize that there's an issue until you move in together or even when you get married and want to have children. But what about the men who listen to this podcast? Because I promised this to you earlier. Well, you aren't going to be surprised. You might run into a woman who also had parents who spoiled her rotten and, honest to God, called her a princess, a queen, or a goddess. They never let her lift a finger or do any work and took her side whenever she might have been in trouble. This is a legit psychological issue, and it's called princess syndrome. These are women who usually feel like they deserve the best and deserve more. If they're attractive, they're going to use their looks to get what they want. So here's some other characteristics that I have listed out. They have high expectations that no one can meet. They feel as if they're too good to work. They're extremely superficial in all their relationships, and they might be a narcissist. So how do you know if you're dating someone that has princess syndrome? Well, guys, here you go. Not only does she act like a toddler by throwing temper tantrums, she constantly complains about something, whatever it is, not being good enough for her. She has to be the center of attention. She manipulates others. She's always procrastinating. She's pouting, and I literally mean the full lip pout, like she pouts when she doesn't get her way. And she bullies other women, especially if she feels that she has to compete against them. Man, doesn't she sound fun? We should match a princess with a man-child together and see what happens. All right, lady, if you found this episode eye-opening or helpful in some way, please leave me a rating and review wherever you're listening from today. It only takes 30 to 45 seconds. And if you feel like you need some daily motivation to choose yourself first and not date a man-child, sign up for my Lady Love lessons. You're going to receive a 1 or 2 sentence Lady Love lesson Monday through Friday. And you can find that by going to reinventingthearena.com and scrolling all the way to the bottom of my homepage and signing up right there. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will chat with you next time. Are you ready to feel energized, fulfilled, and confident in your love life again? Are you ready to rediscover your worth and deepen your self-trust so you stop settling once and for all? Are you done ignoring the red flags that keep you in relationships for way too long? Are you done chasing unavailable men who turn into projects, not partners, as you try to show them how good the relationship could be? Then it's time. It's time to unlearn the patterns and behaviors that keep attracting the same relationships over and over again. It's time to move outside of what you know and create boundaries for the deepest desires of your future self. It's time to evaluate and elevate your standards no matter what others think, say, or do. It's time to choose you. I designed an 8-week group coaching course called Building Love Inside and Out to help you release patterns and sabotaging behaviors to then create and embrace a newfound love for yourself. Each week, I will teach you my framework to do the inner work so that you create a solid foundation for a healthy, long-term relationship. You'll have a group coaching call where you can ask specific questions, whether it's about a situationship, an upcoming date, or the week's theme. And you'll be part of a community of women who are on a mission, like yourself, to put themselves first so that they never find themselves in a shitty relationship again, knowing that they are not alone. Plus, you get personalized support and 2 bonus one-on-one coaching sessions. And we start Monday, September 18th. So why am I sharing this with you now? To join the waitlist. When you join the waitlist, you get 3 additional perks for being a go-getter: a private Q&A over Zoom, early application access, and $500 off the entire program. Oh, and an additional perk to be announced during the Q&A. I'm closing the waitlist on Friday, July 21st, and I will not be giving out these perks out anywhere else. Otherwise, you can wait until the applications open on Monday, August 7th. I'm only accepting 10 women into the private community, and the waitlist members will get first dibs to apply. Application deadline is Friday, September 1st. Head over to my website, reinventingthearena.com/building love inside and out to get on that waitlist. Or you can find the link in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the episode.